To is not on the agenda tonight. On our podium, we have a light system. After you give your name and address, the green light will appear. At the end of 2 minutes, the yellow light, and at the end of 3 minutes, the red light, and we ask that you then promptly take your seat. The City Code identifies the procedure for citizen participation regarding item on tonight's council agenda and provides the opportunity for citizens to address City Council on matters that are germane to the business of council. Matters that are germane to the business of council means matters that the City Council by law is empowered to act upon. This does not include announcements that are personal to you, your business, or your organization, including campaign information. Copies of the city ordinance regarding citizen participation can be found at the desk in the lobby. If you intend to address council this evening, please pick up and review a copy of that ordinance. We also ask at this time if you would silence your phones. As usual, prior to the beginning of the business portion of the meeting, we will have a prayer to the council and then the pledge of the flag. Apostle Dr. Latricia A. Brown with Kingdom International Ministries will provide the invocation to the council, and afterwards Councilwoman Sharon Scott will lead us in the pledge. It is the practice of council members to stand for the invocation and the pledge of the allegiance. Those who wish to stand are welcome, but you are not obligated to do so. Doctor? Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, council, and those that are here present. It is my honor to serve you on tonight. Let us pray. Father, we thank you so much. We want to come before you and just offer a prayer of thanksgiving We want to thank you for our leaders who lead this great city. We thank you for keeping us safe, keeping our schools safe, keeping our streets safe, keeping our homes safe. We thank you, and as we come, we ask, Father, for wisdom. As the planning goes forth, as those things are brought to the table, that you would give wisdom and guidance and knowledge in what you would have done. We thank you on tonight for just leading and guiding and just mannerism for all that is concerned, the concern for the citizens, the concern for those that work in our cities to keep us safe, and the concern for those activities that are planned. We ask that you would bless it and just have your way throughout this whole entire evening. And we give you glory and honor. Thank you. In your name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
We will start with first a proclamation for Older Americans Month, and I would like to ask William Bill Massey, CEO of the Peninsula Agency on Aging, and Sheila Willis, member of the Active Lifestyles Advisory Committee, to please join me at the podium. Whereas the City of Newport News includes a growing number of older Americans who contribute their strength, wisdom, and experience to our community, and whereas communities benefit when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds are welcomed, included, and supported, and whereas the City of Newport News recognizes our need to create a community that provides the services and supports older Americans need to thrive and live independently for as long as possible. And whereas the City of Newport News can work to build an even better community for our older residents by planning programs that encourage independence, ensuring activities are responsive to individual needs and preferences, and increasing access to services that support aging in place. Now, therefore, I, McKinley L. Price, Mayor of the City of Newport News, do hereby proclaim May of 2022 as Older American Month, and I urge every resident to recognize the contributions of our older citizens, help to create an inclusive society, and join efforts with the Peninsula Agency on Aging, Newport News Parks, Recreation and Tourism Active Lifestyles, and other service agencies in our community to support older Americans' choices about how they age in their communities. Yes, sure.
Thank you, Mayor Price. I would like to thank the mayor and members of the city council and the city staff for support of older adults, seniors in our city. We have a unique situation in Newport News with the support that we see for older adults, and I can't thank you enough. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next proclamation is public service recognition. I'd like to ask Assistant Manager Allen and Lindsay Cutshaw, the Employee Pride Task Force Chair, to please join me at the podium. Public Service Recognition Week. Whereas in a long and proud tradition where citizens of Newport News are served every single day by public servants, these unsung heroes do the work that keeps the city operating smoothly and effectively. And whereas this tradition of outstanding public service is advanced every day by the nearly 4,000 city employees who work diligently to improve the quality of life for Newport News residents. And whereas these public servants provide diverse services to the residents of Newport News with efficiency and integrity, some risking their lives each day in service to the people of the city of Newport News in fair weather or foul. And whereas the public servants of the city of Newport News work diligently to serve all citizens during times of prosperity and adversity. And whereas Newport News public servants continually tackle the most complex problems facing our communities, which have significantly heightened over the past 2 years. And whereas Newport News public servants are now working eagerly and enthusiastically to ease the city back into the state of normalcy as we approach a reprieve from the current pandemic. And whereas it has been my absolute honor to serve alongside these incredible servants of the people during my tenure as mayor. And whereas in recognition of extraordinary efforts brought forth by the City of Newport News public servants, city leadership, along with Employee Pride Task Force, will show support and pay tribute to our public servants for the work they do and memorialize those who have gone before. Now, therefore, I, McKinley L. Price, Mayor of the City of Newport News, do hereby proclaim the week of May 1st through the 7th of this year as Public Service Recognition Week in the City of Newport News, and ask the citizens of this community to join in recognition of the many contributions and accomplishments of the employees at all levels of the City of Newport News. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, the Honorable City Council, and special guests who have assembled here this evening. I want to thank you very much for the support and all of the work that the City Council and this community does to support the fine employees in our workforce here in the City of Newport News. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our last proclamation is Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and will Mabel and Zena please join me at the podium? Whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens and local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as an information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas the professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, province, county, and the international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, McKinley L. Price, Mayor of the City of Newport News, do hereby proclaim the week of Sunday, May 1 through Saturday, May 7th, as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Mabel Washington Jenkins, MMC, and all clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Price and members of council, for this wonderful honor. I don't do anything alone. I have a great staff with Zena and Lorraine, Laura, the citizens. They all keep me focused and humble. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there are no public hearings this evening, so we will go right into the consent agenda. Item F contains the following items. Page 3, minutes of the special meeting of April 12th. Page 6, minutes of the work session of April 12th. Page 47, minutes of the regular meeting of April 12th. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items F1 through F3, all inclusive?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Cherry.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're now at other city council actions, page 86, item G1. Mr. Manager.
Yes, good evening once again, Mr. Mayor and the Honorable City Council. Agenda item G1 is a request to approve the issuance by Newport News Redevelopment and Housing Authority of multifamily housing revenue bonds for Woodlands LLC for the benefit of Woodlands at Oyster Point Apartments in the amount not to exceed $19,999,000. The city manager recommends approval.
I don't see any speakers. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
If I could, can someone give me what that acronym stands for? I was reading through it and I could not find anything that related to it at all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Mike Graff. I'm with McGuire Woods, and I'm a bond lawyer and work on, have the pleasure to work on a lot of the housing authorities' revenue bonds. And I was asked that question earlier today. I'm not sure what it stands for. It is, I believe it has to do with the initials of some of the gentlemen that are in the partnership that owns the property. The gentleman from the Woodlands LLC who was joining me this evening has been detained in the weather, but should be here shortly, and I'm happy to provide that information to anyone on behalf of council.
I would like that if you would, please. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Cherry.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Page 99, item G2. Mr. Manager.
Item G2 is a request to approve the issuance by Newport News Redevelopment and Housing Authority of multifamily housing revenue bonds for Standard Denby Trace Venture LP for the benefit of Denby Trace Apartments in an amount not to exceed $24 million. City manager recommends approval.
Okay, I don't see any speakers. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilman Harris.
4.
I'm way out of order. Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Cherry.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, page 112, item G3. Mr. Manager.
Item G3 is a request to adopt an ordinance to amend and reordain City Code, Chapter 38, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 12, Special Events, Parades, and Races. The city manager recommends approval.
Okay, we have one speaker, Ben Groyle. Good evening. Come on, sir.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Grau. I live at 12734 Sand Pebble Circle. It's nice to see you all. I'll get right to it. I only have 3 minutes. So, this proposed ordinance will significantly increase the cost to volunteers and nonprofit organizations that create community events in our city. It will also create an obstacle to hosting events that spur tourism to Newport News and make it a nice place to live. There are 2 fundamental issues I have here. One is that we want to encourage community events that uplift our neighborhoods, not discourage them through prohibitive costs. The second is the issue of moving what should be a city service to the private sector, which is included in the language of the ordinance where if a plan is not already made, a private verified traffic service will have to be used. Let's talk about some of the issues of a private verified traffic service. With such a small market, there will likely be a small number, maybe one, of this service. With limited market size and early adopter advantage, we can't exactly expect the benefits that you would normally see from the free market here. So with one or two companies, how much will they charge? Will that cost sneak up every year? Even if there were competition, now the market decides what the price should be for someone to organize an event or organize a protest. That's not right. Further, what discretion will the private entity have in creating or not creating the traffic plan? With a private company like this, there's no control and no accountability. With Newport News offering the service, at least we have elected officials like yourselves that have influence in the decision, and your motivation is to help your constituents, not maximize profit. Here's an example. Let's say I want to organize an event from the neighborhood to show support for cutting down all trees in Newport News and drilling for oil. It'd be quite ironic since the tree is the center of our crest. Bear with me here.
Excuse me.
I go to the private company to create the traffic plan, and they don't really want to do it. They can either charge an exorbitant price that I can't realistically meet, so I can't do it, or they can refuse to make the plan altogether. Now, what if my event is a civil rights protest instead, and they still deny it? Clearly, my First Amendment rights have been infringed, even if it was legal. So let me ask you, how much do my First Amendment rights cost? The problem here is delegating what should be a public responsibility to a profit-seeking private company, giving them too much power in deciding whether or not I can exercise my First Amendment rights, or how expensive it should be for me to do so. Honestly, it's pretty surprising that this is even up for a vote, especially considering the risks I just mentioned, along with the additional costs incurred by community organizations. It's clear that to encourage new innovative community events and to make Newport News a great place to live, you have to vote against this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are all the cards I have. Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So move.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
I just want to say that, from my point of view, I think this is a bad time to create new fees for citizens. Tax revenue is up, and I believe that supporting community events builds goodwill between the citizens and the city, and that community-led events make Newport News a better place to live. So I will be voting against the measure.
I will be voting for it and supporting it because we have no structure right now. And sometimes in these community events, what happens is people don't give everybody a chance to, and I'm thinking of the Denby Day Parade in particular, because there were two organizations that didn't even have a chance to try to continue with them. So I think it puts down parameters that can be followed that aren't, we're not trying to raise money on this. We just want the city not to have to supply money for all of these huge events. And so that is one of the reasons I am supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilman Jenkins,
Against?
Mayor Price,
4.
Councilwoman Scott,
For.
Councilwoman Vick,
Against.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Or
Vice Mayor Cherry,
For.
Councilman Harris.
Against.
Motion carry, 4-3.
We are now at appropriations, page 124, item H. Mr. Manager.
Item H1 is a request to approve a resolution appropriating $5,058 of in-kind donations for the Court-Appointed Special Advocate, otherwise known as CASA program. City Manager recommends approval. Item H2 is a request to approve a resolution appropriating $43,120 of state grant revenue, $38,810 of federal grant revenue, and $78,000 of community support fund funding from the city's fiscal year 2022 general fund operating budget for the City Court-Appointed Special Advocate Program. City Manager recommends approval. H3 is a request to approve a resolution accepting American Rescue Plan Act, otherwise known as ARPA, Group Violence Intervention Funding, in the amount of $300,000 to support law enforcement and community-based gun violence prevention initiatives. The city manager recommends approval. And item H4 is a request to approve a resolution appropriating $4,926,063 of grant funds from the Community Flood Preparedness Fund for the Stormwater Master Planning Project. And again, the city manager recommends approval.
Is there a motion to approve items H1 through H4?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Cherry.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Motion carried, 7-0.
We are now at citizens' comments. I have one card, Bob Neely. Good evening, sir.
Tell me if I'm in the wrong place, I guess. My name's Robert Tipton Neely. I petitioned let me take this damn thing off. Petitioned the council to reduce the speed limit on Denby Boulevard from the York County line to Lucas Creek Road from 45 miles an hour to 35.
Could you get a little closer to the mic? Yes, thank you.
Okay, sorry. Some context, there's been 2 fender benders and 1 fatality at that intersection with McManus. Saw a fire department or the police giving CPR to a motorcyclist who was sandwiched between 2 vehicles. And there's already been replacement of the sheet metal panels that were, it's a sound wall for the other residents on Balthrop Drive Road, I think, in Windsor Great Park. And sometime before 12 noon on Saturday of April the 23rd, I was going to catch the bus, and I noticed that a vehicle lost control of the car and T-boned the sheet, unless you want to know what T-bone means. It means, okay. T-boned the seat settlement wall. Of course, the panels went flying everywhere. Guy's license plate was dug into the ground. I could see the tire treads, everything. Now, everything's been cleaned up now, so far. But 3 panels were damaged, and 1 went around the corner. He didn't hit the brick wall, then he would probably, but I didn't notice any blood. With some glass shards lying on the ground and warning posts, the stop can be used, but with caution. Other solutions to the move, the start of 35-mile zone, 100 yards before Jefferson Avenue, back to the intersection with Oriana Road or Old Denby, which means probably another quarter of a mile when you got 45. Another solution is to place warning strips on the westbound lanes at that intersection and in front of the assisted living facility that's located there. I think you would probably remember it as a Morningside at Newport News. And one solution I would say is probably do nothing, but send some law enforcement officers and issue speeding tickets. Imagine maybe a couple hours on each shift, day shift, evening shift, and overnight, 6 hours. I've lived near that street for the past 9 years, and I can assure council, if you choose that option, you're going to get a steady revenue stream. I'd say about $1,000 a day in speeding tickets. I assume right now they're $200. I may be wrong.
Have no
Are
idea.
they?
I don't know. Sir. I'm not sure, sir.
Well, if you catch somebody racing cars, do what the state of Maryland did.
And thank you, sir. If you would leave that address with the clerk, we have that, and we will have engineering department look into that with
Sure.
your suggestions.
Okay, here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I noticed the red light. There you go. It's crazy.
Maybe they need more red lights on that street.
You know, well, maybe they do. There you go.
Thank you. We are now, those are all the cards I have. We are now at new business. Mr. Manager.
No new business from the city manager's office this evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney.
Nothing, sir.
Madam Clerk.
I just want to thank everyone again for the proclamation for Municipal Clerk Week. For the first time in 2 years, we're having our annual conference, Virginia Municipal Clerks Association, in person.
Good.
Yeah.
That is good. It's a good group. Councilwoman Scott.
Yes, just a few things, Mr. Mayor. First, I'd like to thank our Madam Clerk and her staff for their awesome service that they provide to us and to the citizens since it's Municipal Clerk Week. I did not know. You know, it's a week for everything. This month is like 5 different weeks. But we appreciate you all and all that you all do. I always tell the citizens, because of the things that you guys do for us, and make us look like we're really doing our part, and we appreciate you. Also, I just have to applaud the City of Newport News and Parks and Recreation for the outdoor enthusiast event that was at Newport News Park this weekend. I didn't quite know what to expect when they said outdoor enthusiasts, but it was an awesome event. It was very well attended. A lot of families, people were really elated just to be outside. And the hot air balloon, I'd always wanted to get a ride. It wasn't a ride, but it was a lift. So I did get a lift in the hot air balloon. And someday I would like to try that and get the whole ride. But I just think Parks and Recreation did a stellar job. And then the lumberjack show was phenomenal. If you like seeing that kind of thing. But anyways, I think I could use that saw, Chief. I saw him shaking his head back there. I could do the chainsaw part. I probably could do that. Chopping the wood, not so much. Climbing a pole, maybe. But it was a great time to be had by all. Last night, we had another virtual town hall meeting, and one of the citizens posed a question based on Ms. Tulu was our planning director speaker last evening, and we appreciate her as well as we do Angela Watson, who is usually there. But someone asked about a skating rink that is proposed, I think it's going before the Planning Commission on May 4th at 2 o'clock. And they wanted to know location, so I'm just letting them know that that is proposed for the old Burlington store. And I was thinking, what else could be big enough other than what used to be the Speed Club? So it's coming before planning, and I just want the citizens to know that when it comes before planning, that doesn't mean that it's approved. That means that it's in the process of being discussed and that it will ultimately come to council or not. Usually it does, but I'm a big proponent of any kind of activities in the North District for our youth, and skating is not just for young people. I know lots of older people, well, adults, I would say, who actually do skate as well. So just look forward to hearing more about that going forward. Also, I just want to remind everybody about the Lifelong Citizenship Award. If you have 90-plus Euros that you are aware of who have either lived or worked in the city of Newport News or made some impact. They could have been school teachers, they could have been pastors. They are eligible for the Lifelong Citizenship Award. So you need to, I think you can go online to the Park and Recreation's website and get the application there, or you can call 757-926-1400. For more information. That's the Parks and Recreation Department and Michael Poplowski. Also, there is a the Newport News Police Department is hoping that y'all turn out, but they're hosting Drug Take Back Day on April 30th at Port Warwick near the emergency room entrance. And on at Walgreens at J. Clyde, between Walgreens and Tire City, and it's 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. on April 30th. So if you have excess things at home that you don't need and you want to turn them in, this is a great opportunity if you've saved them all this time, because we don't like to see them in the water. So you can't just throw them out or put them in the trash or whatever. The suggestion is that you turn them back in. And also, just want to, since we're talking about weeks, May 2nd to May 6th is Correctional Officers Week. So if you all see Sheriff Gabe Morgan and his team, just applaud them for their efforts for what they do to care for the inmates and to keep our city of Newport News safe. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Vick.
Well, congratulations to Mabel and Zena, Laura, and Lorraine. I really appreciate all of the work that you do, and what a great time to be able to celebrate this week with you for the team that helps to keep me all together. So thank you so much. And I just have to say, so glad to see Jack and Christine Gertie out here tonight with us. It's been a while, and glad to see you doing well. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Woodbury.
Yes, thank you very much, those who came down and those who let us know from afar. But we are very appreciative of any input, and we thank you for being interested, and we thank you for being able to serve you. And not only do the Gurgleys, they have a granddaughter who's doing an internship with us who is from Germany. And would you stand, please? And I hear she's doing a great job. Her older brother did the same thing about 4 or 5 years ago. So we're just delighted to have you here and have you study a stellar city. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Cherry.
I'd like to say good evening to everyone and thank you for everyone who's joining us here tonight in chamber, but also who may be joining us by airway. Just a couple of announcements. I'd like to thank all who contributed to the Easter basket giveaway and the Easter egg hunt that we had down at King Lincoln Park a couple of weeks ago. I really want to say thank you to our park rangers. They are a wonderful group of people to work with, so I want to say thank you to them for helping us to work through that. Appreciation to Sister and the Alpha Alpha chapter of Omega Psi Phi for their tremendous support, and the Army. They came out with baskets, and we had so much fun, and I just want to make sure that we recognize those individuals who helped to make that happen. We had the great occasion of being with a new organization that's in the Denby part of the city called Pinnacle Treatment Centers. It is a leading facility for individuals, men and women, struggling with substance use disorders and co-occurring mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and PTSD and trauma. One of the most exciting things about this organization that it also has supportive housing available to those individuals who are challenged with addiction to alcohol and drug and substance use. So the new organization is at 606 Denby Boulevard. They are open to the community, open to the public by referral. So I do encourage all of you all that may know someone who's challenged with any type of substance use and abuse to make contact with the Pinnacle Treatment Centers. A beautiful facility here. They also have an opioid center that's on McManus Boulevard as well. So they do house individuals in the community, and then they try to help them so that they can maintain themselves once they get finished treatment. I also like to say thank you, as Sharon did, to our Parks and Recreation Department, to special events, especially to Tanisha Brown and Shelley, and to Mike Popolowski. Thank you, and we have a lot of activity going on for the City of Newport News from now through December. So I'm hoping that you will stay tuned because great things are happening in the City of Newport News, and we really want everyone to be a part of that. Hot off the press are the Juneteenth 2022 brochures. We are excited that Juneteenth is coming. We have 8 days of fun events for all age groups. So we will have these brochures available to anyone who's interested in having them and passing them out in the community. Just to give you some highlights, we will have a Juneteenth bingo is back, and a lot of people enjoyed the bingo, so we'll have that back, and our Raising the Flag ceremony. And so just get the brochure. If you're interested, registration for all of the events will be, the deadline is May the 16th. For some of the events, it's not a registration. There's no fee to register, but we want to make sure that we're preparing correctly for guidelines, if necessary, for CDC, but also to make sure that we have refreshments for those who come and serve. I want to say thank you so much to Mr. Winings. After we had our public hearing about our real estate assessment, there was a lot of concern that came up about real estate assessment, and so he graciously came and shared with us how that process takes place. And I think that he was able to answer a lot of the questions that people had about the real estate assessment. So I do want to send a shout out to Mr. Winings for coming and helping us out with that. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much. God bless.
Councilman Harris.
Yes, and good evening to everyone, and thank you for everyone who came out even when it was storming right before our meeting took place. I just real quick want to congratulate or recognize Mr. Alonzo Bell and the work he's doing with the 100 Black Men Mentorship Program as they celebrated, had their gala this past Saturday. A few of us were able to attend, and it's always phenomenal to be able to see our young people being recognized and going on and doing great things in the community and beyond. There were several scholarships awarded to several well-deserving young people that will be graduating this year, and it was a good number of other participants that are just walking the line of doing great things as they from elementary school all the way to high school, just to see them dressed up in their tuxes and gowns and speaking in front of a ballroom full of people, which I would have been scared to do at that age, and doing it with such elegance. So thank you to all of those members of the 100 Black Men organization, to Brother Alonzo Bell and the leadership. And if you get a chance, any donation that you can goes a long way in helping to provide the services that they provide for young people and our seasoned citizens here in the community. So just wanted to recognize them for the great work that they're doing with the 100 Black Men Foundation. That's all I have, Mayor Price.
Thank you. Councilman Jenkins.
This evening, I just want to take a quick minute and thank the Warwick County Historical Society for allowing me to do a presentation on my family history. My great-grandfather came to Newport News in 1882 and opened a grocery store down on 18th Street, and then in the 1890s moved to the corner of 26th and Chestnut. And the society just allowed me to come down, show some old family photos, and tell some family stories, and I appreciate it a great deal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I also attended the outdoor enthusiast event. My wife and I got to do the axe throwing. Both hit the target. It was more like hatchet throwing, though. It wasn't really an axe, but it was a lot of fun. That was a good event, a lot of fun. A lot of people showed up, and we appreciate the participation. And as I'm sure you know, hospitality and tourism industry has been greatly affected by the pandemic. So to show our support for the Newport News hospitality industry and the celebration of the National Travel and Tourism Week, we are making next week Newport News Travel, Tourism, and Restaurant Week. So you will see these around and online. We're excited that 17 Newport News restaurants will participate in a special Restaurant Week event beginning Saturday, April 30th, and lasting through Saturday, May 7th. We invite the community to experience new restaurants or visit their favorite restaurants next week. The participating restaurants will offer a set menus for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you can visit newportnewsrestaurantweek.com for a list of participating restaurants and all the details. Also, you have a chance to win some gift certificates at these participating restaurants. That is all I have. Any last words from anyone? If not, may what you say and do uplift the city of Newport News. We stand adjourned. Thank you.